I'd like to share my system for an annual financial unwrapped that allows me to look at the 7 key areas of wealth building in my own life that I've been following for the last 15 years. And what I've done in this video is condensed all of my learnings over the last 15 years into an easy template that you can follow along with for your own situation. If you don't have an end of year check-in today, I highly recommend that you create your own or adopt mine. It's truly transformative because the end of the year is a great time to review how you've done because it gives you a full year to reflect on and create some intentionality heading into the new year that you can use to inspire yourself on short, medium, and long-term goals for yourself. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to walk through this template and I won't read every question, but I want to highlight what these 7 key areas of wealth building are, why I focus on them in my financial unwrapped, and how you can think about it for your own situation. Every year with my financial unwrapped, I have 3 clear objectives with my review, and that is to celebrate the successes that I've had, look at areas of growth that I've been proud of, and any challenges to my plan that I didn't account for or I want to focus on for next year to improve. With those objectives in mind, let me walk you through the 7 key levers of wealth building that I focus on every year that I think are important for any financial situation. So the first one is going to be income generation, and it's important to reflect on how much you've been paid year over year and if that amount's changed. More importantly, it's good to look at what skills you've developed that may make you eligible to make more into the future and building plans around how you can develop those skills and negotiate a salary raise for yourself or look at changing positions that would allow you to earn more money. The other key thing is to assess how stressed you were throughout the year to help avoid burnout. And if you're feeling like you're in an unsustainable place, whether it's a position or work relationships, coming up with a plan to make your life more enjoyable so that you can sustain the income that you're earning. Lastly, I like to look at other income streams that may have been developed throughout the year. And if you don't have these today, just use it as a place to inspire you for the future. One thing that is important to ask is if these income streams were effective for you, whether it was worth the time and effort, or if that time could have been spent more effectively in your primary way of earning money, whether that's spending time developing skills that might give you a better return on your investment. All right, so the next focus is your assets. And so this is where you help put together a financial picture for yourself that kind of reveals how your money has changed year over year. And what you want to do first is assess how your net worth has changed. And this is simply all of your assets, whether that's a car or a home that you have or any savings, minus the debt that you have, would show you how much your net worth has changed year over year. I like to focus on how my assets have changed, whether this is investment accounts that you've put money into, and then what your proudest moments have been with the contributions that you've made. So then next we go to debt, and the key here is to just focus on how your debt levels have changed. If you've been able to pay off debt, if you're in debt, really congratulating yourself and appreciating the moment that you're in for all the hard work that you've done. If you found yourself accumulating more debt over the year, coming up with strategies in the new year to help avoid that and look at the behavioral changes that you can make to make changes there. Next is investing. So if you don't invest today, I'll be making a whole video on investing and what I like to focus on. But the key here is assessing your investment behaviors to make sure that you've been consistent with whatever your investing strategy is. One of the biggest challenges that people have with investing and building wealth is that they allow emotions to cloud their behaviors, whether that's taking risky bets because they want to get rich quickly, or not investing because they're scared that they're going to lose money, or changing their investment strategy as sentiment in the market changes. These are all things that we have to look at in ourselves to help improve our behaviors when it comes to investing. The key is that to build wealth, you have to invest because that's how your money compounds and grows. And if you don't do this, then you're not going to build wealth, even if you save money. So it's important that at the end of every year, you're looking at how have I invested? Did I invest in accordance with my plan? And how could I change that in the new year if I haven't? All right, next we assess how we've saved throughout the year. The key to this section is to help calculate a savings rate if you don't do this today, all this does is it looks at how much money you've saved versus how much money you've earned to get that into a percentage. So for example, if you earn $10,000 and you save 5,000, that would be a 50% savings rate, which is really aggressive. Most people and Americans on average only save 3% of their salary. So if you can target 10% or more, that's doing more than the average person. The key is to just reflect on what savings wins you've had throughout the year, what challenges you've had to being able to save money, and then build a plan around how you can aggressively save next year so that you can invest that money and start to build wealth. Okay, so then the rest of this goes into your expenses. And for my wealth building journey, I think expenses are the most critical area that anyone can control for their own personal journey. A lot of these questions you may need to be able to budget, and if you don't budget for today, you might not know how to answer these. You can use these as a reference point for yourself. If you don't have all of the answers, that's fine. What I like to focus on is making sure that I don't have lifestyle creep happening where I'm getting paid more money throughout the year, but I'm immediately going to spend that money in new ways. And it's important that you're reflective around where your dollars have went. Have they brought you some level of joy, or have they went towards a purpose that was important to you? Or are you spending money in ways to impress other people or do things in ways that run counter to what you really find important? So these are a lot of deep questions that you can spend some time with. And then after that, the last one is just on taxes. Really, it's not the exciting section to end on, but it is important. Just looking at how you've helped avoid taxes in your own situation. For most people, taxes are easily or best avoided simply by saving money in tax-advantaged accounts. So if you have a 401k at work, a traditional IRA, or a health savings account, those are key areas where when you put money into them, you don't pay tax. So if you don't contribute to those accounts today, you're just paying more to the government than you need to. And so what I do at the end of every year is look back and make sure that I've maximized the different ways that I could save on taxes. Lastly, just highlighting other areas that you might want to be more intentional about, or things that you're really proud of throughout the year, so that when you get to this end of year recap, you can look back on it with some pride. I like to give myself a grade at each and every year. And if you're just starting out, even if you're just getting into this, you can give yourself a good grade, because most people will never do this level of analysis for themselves. But as you start setting out objectives for yourself, you can take this document and save it, and then a year later, look back at how you think you've done. Then the rest of the Unwrapped session, I like to look at what my plan is for the following year. And that includes setting clear targets for each of the key levers of wealth: my income, savings, investments, debt, and expenses. And then building plans around how I'm going to achieve those things. Lastly, I like to look at a broader picture for the year, what the key goals and objectives that I have that fall outside of just a financial target, how I'm going to achieve those, what I'll focus on, and really walking away with 3 to 5 goals that I'll commit to taking action on. Then the last thing is just looking at what my longer term focus is. And if you watch one of my longer form videos that walk through what I think of as wealth, my focus on wealth is how can I earn time for myself, options, ownership, and empower a life vision that inspires me to do the hard work that wealth building really takes, which is diligently earning money, saving it, and investing it, and growing that habit over a long period of time. So I hope that this Unwrapped session has been helpful for you. Like I said, this is something that I've done over the last 15 years. So this synthesizes things that I've continued to add on throughout the years that you can take for your own situation. I always enjoy saving these because you can come back to them 5, 6, 7 years later and celebrate the growth that I've had over the years. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you don't know how to answer all of these questions, that's okay. I know I went pretty quickly through some of these because I wanted to make sure it was an effective use of your time. But if you have questions about any of these areas and you don't know how to answer something, feel free to leave a comment or question in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer your question. So best of luck in doing your 2024 Unwrapped. I hope that it provides insights for your situation and your journey, and I look forward to seeing the things that you do in the new year.